Son, you in there?
Yeah, Dad, I'm in here.
Well, your 10th birthday was last week, and I think you know what that means.
Are there more presents?
And the present of getting a job, yeah.
Oh.
Have you decided what you're going to do?
I've thought about wanting to be an astronaut.
An astronaut with your grades?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, your mother and I were thinking, you were talking about becoming a Pokemon trainer, right?
Oh, yeah, I want to do that, too.
Yeah, well, I scrounged up what I could, and I got you 3 Pokemon.
Are they good ones?
Well, just the ones I read with my tomato plants in the back, so no.
Oh, Dad.
They're all bugs, and you know what? You get one.
That's still very exciting. I've never had one before.
That's great because they don't do much and it'll be a great starter for you. How do you like the phrase harden and tackle?
They seem fine,
Perfect.
aggressive, but
Here,
fine.
just I'm not even gonna let you choose. Just take this one out of my pocket.
I choose this one.
Exactly, perfect. Now, when will you be leaving?
Daddy, what was it?
It doesn't matter. It's one of those I don't know. It had a horn and wings. Just take the ball. Why are you still in my house?
Daddy, you just walked in my room. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, because you need to go. You got to get out there if you're going to catch all 9 million of those critters out there.
Daddy, there's so many.
And don't you dare come back unless you have a jacket full of badges.
A whole jacket.
A whole jacket.
Oh, there's so many badges.
Did you ever notice why your mother's not here?
Mom?
She's embarrassed.
Oh, no. I'm a little snugglebug.
Oh, God. You're going to be a snugglebug if you keep using those Pokemon.
Oh, no.
You ain't going to win a single badge.
But I will. I'm going to be the best that there ever was.
Perfect, because I got some gifts to get you started. Ready?
Oh, okay. I love gifts.
We got you an iPad.
Oh, boy.
And we got your bike from last year.
Well, that's my bike. That's not it's
right,
not a
but
new
I still
gift.
bought it, and you should still have it.
I get it, but
whatever.
Don't say
It counts
it's a
as
new gift.
It counts as a gift.
I get to continue a gift.
Also, here's my old gun.
Oh.
You know, from that war that we keep talking about but never really mentioned.
Okay. You told me I should never touch this.
Yeah, well, you're gonna need it. You're a 10-year-old at night going on a track on a road by yourself. So, bottoms up and all that crap. Get out of my house.
Okay. Well, Dad.
Yeah.
I love you.
That's great. Bye. Your sister's a lawyer. Welcome back for another episode. If you haven't guessed, our theme is 10-year-olds walking the streets at night. Dan, how do you feel about that?
I have numerous feelings and emotions about this. Like, get ready for the biggest nostalgia bomb that we can drop on you.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be the Pokemon episode, everyone.
If you couldn't tell.
If you couldn't tell, we couldn't.
So grab your balls and get on that bike.
What's that? We're canceled? We made it
tried.
as long as we could. Made it as long as we could. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fan Fiction, where Matt does everything in his power to get us canceled by David. We're sorry, David. It's Matt's fault.
For the stuff we didn't release, Dan's the one who tried to get us canceled.
First of all, though that never happened. I deleted it all.
It's never made happen.
You cannot prove a word. It's on my computer.
It never made happen, Land. It got deleted.
So Pokemon. We're talking about Pokemon today, everyone. We're going to be talking about Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Go, Pokemon the game, Pokemon the animated series. We're hardcore hitting.
I don't know if you could see that, but when you were naming those off, my eyes were spinning.
Were they?
Yeah, a little bit, just because of Generation 1, Generation 2, Generation
I'm not going to
3,
lie. So
Generation 4.
We talked a little bit about what we wanted to really
6,
make sure we could focus
Generation
on.
7.
And we're going to do 152 and before.
Yeah, not to rain on anybody's parade, but man, I just couldn't keep up after the second generation. I was like, okay, I'm done.
I was so proud of myself for learning 151 of these things. And I was like, man, my brain is full as it's going to be.
And then they were like, 152 more.
Yeah. And then didn't they drop like another 200 after that?
Yeah. And then they dropped another batch. And then they dropped here's some gods now. And here's all the, there's Pokemon gods.
I have to admit, I did love the
I'm tapping.
the 4 Ligers.
Yeah.
Though they were cool. Let's we're not saying it was all bad.
The kaiju ones?
Yeah.
Like the fire one of the flying whale?
Well, the first one with the birds, Articuno, Voltress.
Oh, right.
And then they were and now they're super tigers.
One's a red Godzilla and the other's a flying whale monster.
No, not those.
Oh, that's
one of them, it's literally it's the mythical
right,
tiger lion things. I don't know their names, but I always thought they were super
my
cool.
bad. I remember what you're talking about now.
Anyways, so we decided we're gonna keep it on 150 or 152 and backwards.
Right. I mean, that cuts out a lot of the other games, but however, it's kind of a rinse repeat for most of the generational
We didn't really
ones.
reinvent the wheel here. It's
Not
like
too
Mega
much.
Man, where it's like we just kept kind of making the same game.
Actually, it does feel like a lot like Mega Man. They kind of kept like the same formula, little tweaks here and there.
The
and
graphics get a little better, but
they get better.
Not by much. We added color in one of them.
I can tell you one thing: the noise and animation from that got better. Because
yeah.
do you recall what they sounded like?
No,
Dan?
Matt, you want to do your impression of a Pikachu coming on for the first time? We did this for like 45 minutes. Ready? It was like. You're like, I got a Pikachu.
Every time you do it,
that or somebody is strangling RoboCop in the corner.
Seriously, it sounds like somebody's taking piano wire to all your Pokemon when you like when you touch the Pokedex. It's like
piano wire to your favorite Pokemon.
Bulbasaur, number
on
1
a t-shirt. That should be
Seed
on our
type. Sounds like he's choking on his vines. Huh?
Hey, look, guys, it's a Squirtle.
And every time they popped up in the wild, it'd make that weird little tone. He'd be like, "Oh God!"
Oh God! And they were like, and please go back playing the Game Boy version of the game and look how ugly every single Pokemon is. Like comparatively now, where we have like real animation that looks just like the anime. But like, remember like chubby little Pikachu was just like, "Hey everybody!" You'd be like, "Ooh!" Like, there's no way he's fitting in a Pokeball.
But you still get excited because they don't ever pop up. So you're like, "Oh my goodness! Look at that chubby Pikachu!"
Okay, so I have to admit. Okay, so the one thing I do want to talk about first is what's your big introduction to Pokemon? Because I have to admit, my big thing before the video games, before the card games, I was fortunate that the age I'm at. We got started with the anime itself.
Right.
I remember waking up at 6 a.m.
before school.
Yep, before school to watch Channel 11, which was the WB, because that's when new episodes of Pokemon would air. And as like a 12-year-old getting up at like 5:45 just so I could sneak downstairs, just so I could because my parents had a very strict you don't turn on the television in the morning. Not at all. Like, what are you doing? Like, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you get ready for school, do this, do that. Like, if I turned on the television, my family would be like, what in the world is wrong?
Oh, see, mine was the opposite. Like, please get awake as soon as you can.
Oh, no.
Because half the time I would be a zombie in the morning because I would sleep till noon, 80% of my time. So, like, please just be up. I'm glad you're up. You're alive. Just walk.
So
go
they
to the bus
turned the TV on just to lure you out of your bedroom? Okay, that's fine.
We were hard to get up.
Oh, no. I actually still don't have an issue getting up in the morning, but maybe it's because of Pokemon has trained me to get up at 5:45.
Oh, see, I don't have a problem now because I have a Pokemon named Smudge.
Oh, the dog.
Who's like a 38-pound little, mixture of everything who wakes me up with like a lick-a-tongue attack.
Yeah, I have a Pokemon called Employment, which wakes me up every single morning at 6 a.m. or it goes like, "Rah, you're going to lose your job." I don't know why my employment sounds like a parrot, but that's exactly what happens. Every single morning it wakes me up. So no, my first is definitely the anime, and then after that, I started playing the card game.
Right.
The card game, and then after that is when I actually got into the video game itself.
Yeah, and see, mine was the flip of yours. I actually lived behind a comic book / card shop called Medieval Starship, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Shout outs to Medieval Starship.
Doesn't matter. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah, they closed.
They're not going to be mad if you mispronounce their name.
Someone's like, "Oh,
oh, I remember.
That was my shit." Anyway,
they always had a cool set of armor and stuff, like they're in Warhammer and some other tabletop stuff. But they also had the Pokemon card game. I remember my friends always going there before and after school and going like, "Hey, did you get a pack?" And they kind of got me into it. And after that, I was like, "Well, I guess the show's on too," because they were talking about that. And that's when I started watching it as well, like early in the morning. And that's pretty much my first little starts there. And then we got the Game Boy games. And
and then
rest is history.
I have
like
to admit,
little history because I stopped playing it after the
yeah.
Game Boy games.
I stopped. I think so I had the first one, which was were you red or blue? Right? Wasn't that it?
That was.
So were you red or blue?
You first.
So I was blue.
Oh, okay, I was blue.
You got blue too?
I made Joe get red, my brother.
That's what happened. They bought
so
my
we
sister.
Could trade, yeah.
They got and we got that cable that you could connect because the only way you could evolve some of them or even get them is through trading.
Yeah, which was kind of cool, but also kind of infuriating if you didn't know anybody. But luckily, I had my brother.
You didn't have any friends.
Yeah, if you were a loner kid, you know, you're like, oh, look at this loser. He can't even like evolve as Machoke.
what a Machump. We digress.
Poor silly jerk.
So no, I like, and you know, as much as like the games have evolved. Oh, hey, man, we're full of them tonight.
Look at that keyword.
I admit the one game that I loved had to be Pokemon Snap, though.
Snap was just a fun little.
I'm telling you, I played that
it's a fun
game
little side game
over and over and over again. So that was, and like because like each time you played it, like the replay value of that game, up to a certain point was crazy because then you'd get the apples. And then you could just be a jerk and start pelting anyone you saw with
That's
these
what I'm saying.
apples.
It's a good little time killer because, you could just do it however you wanted. You make your own little story like, I was out here on this island taking pictures and, all of a sudden they got angry. Really, it's just chucking apples at their head.
It's like, why are all the Pokemon you take photos of angry? It's like, I don't know.
This one's peeing at the camera.
And then, like, you got the Poke Flute and you can make certain ones dance.
Oh, yeah.
But I think deep down, like, I just loved at the very end, you got judged, like, really harshly. So it's like, look at this great photo of Pikachu. He's like, that's great. D-. Oh, God. Like,
art is subjective.
And, like, getting into photography, it's like, I think that was the game that I learned, like, keeping things in frame. Because if it wasn't in frame, or, like, you know, you had to make sure he was in the right depth. Or like, you know,
I think it definitely taught a generation of people like how to take better photos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so that game holds a very special.
Don't hold the camera at a weird angle underneath your face. So it looks like you have 3 chins.
Well, not only that, remember you only had so much film.
That's
right.
So
it wasn't like you could just go crazy.
Can't shutterbug it.
You had to like at least slow it down, wait for the right things. Because remember, you could break your cart a little bit. You could slow it down, but you could never stop it. So really, it was about like paying attention to the like environment and finding those right times and using the right, I don't know, like I could dissect how great that game was over and over and over again.
No, I agree. It was definitely a fun game. And like you said, just making your own little adventures with it, like just throwing apples at stuff if you were just bored or like, you know, I always did I did the opposite of what they wanted. I always take like pictures of the sky or the water.
I bet Professor Oak loved you.
Oh man, I always get
like, wow,
F+.
What was his name? Rocky? Or what was
I can't even remember.
He had a name. Well, of course he had a name, but it was something like that. He's like, well,
all the professors
Rocky,
have a tree.
Looks like you failed me once again.
Yeah. Well, I guess you didn't take this subject seriously.
Well, great going.
Back on the bus or boat because I don't know.
Back on the raft for you. Because it was his own special island,
it was its own special island, yeah.
Oh, I love that game.
See, Arena is the one I took to because you actually got to. Did you ever play that one? From
Stadium?
64? Yeah, Stadium, yeah.
Stadium, yeah.
Arena.
Noob.
Kill each other.
Get it together. No,
that's the one that's fun because you get to see them actually use their moves. And it was like the first time you actually got like hardcore good graphics as opposed to like the Game Boy one. And
so, it was visually amazing.
Good.
To watch all that stuff happen. The problem is every time I played it with somebody, it was like that game of rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Where you would have your lineup, you would have one of each type. So if they threw out a fire type, you would take out a water type. But then they're not going to keep their fire type out. So then they would take out their fire type and put it in a plant. Like it was just this constant game of like changing so you get the advantage while the other person never really attacks because it's their turn. So they change to get the advantage. You know, like
it definitely could have used a tweak on the turn system.
We ended up doing like, I don't know if it was like you had to randomly put one out and whatever played, you had to play it. Because like like I said, I played too many games where it's like it's a constant switch.
It just took forever.
It's a constant switch them up. But visually it was great.
Oh yeah.
Visually
the concept was great. But yeah, it definitely needed some tweaks.
So what was your lineup? Like say if you had all 151, 152 if you're adding Missingno.
The glitch from the Game Boy? No.
152, okay. You had to fly down. You had to swim across the coast.
Masingo like ruined
every all the free rare candies you wanted, okay?
So Masingo was a glitch in the Game Boy one where like you had to surf on the side of an island.
You had to talk to somebody about how to cut.
Yeah.
And then you had to jump on a bird that knew fly.
Right.
To fly down to the island. And I'm saying this from memory.
Then on the east side of the island, you had to surf up and down.
Then you had to go to surf, and then you not in the water. It had to be like right on the coast.
And then like occasionally this weird like
it was a glitch. Yeah.
Barcode of a monster would show up.
It was like half Venusaur, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, I'd have to, it's something weird where the graphics didn't merge right. And it was strange. But the cool thing was that it gave you item duplication and things
It's
like
like
that.
your eighth item
yeah,
down.
like whatever slot X.
And it wasn't
multiplies,
unlimited.
Yeah.
It would just be like a weird pixel, and you would just keep using it until it went to 99, and then you would use it. And of course, it'd be rare candies and Master Balls.
Everybody realized like, oh well, it's this slot. I'll move all the best items there.
Yep.
And yeah.
So
like
like
you could break the game real easy. Yeah.
well, I mean, at least it was far. Like you had to be pretty far into the game.
Yeah, it was about mid or a little over.
Like you had to at least know like cuts. You had to know fly. You had to know surf. So like I'd say at least 75% of the game had to be done.
I was going to say at least 60, 75, 80 somewhere there.
But
yeah,
that's how I 100%ed it, because then once you see Mewtwo, you're just like Master Ball.
And I think Blastoise randomly showed up on that little surf along with Pikachu too.
Really?
Like, yeah, you would get some weird Pokemon showing up like on that beach as well.
Oh, see, I never remember that. I only remember Missing No, and that was it.
There were some other weird ones that weren't supposed to be there that would pop up too.
But like I would play the game up until that point, and then I just became a god. Like all of your Pokemon are like S tier, and you have to go face like the big final whatever. Like what okay, so Ash and Gary, right? Gary was the big.
Well,
jerk.
it wasn't Ash, and the first one was Red.
Oh, it was Red. Okay, Wink. Like definitely not.
And it wasn't Butt Munch or like Jerkhead. It was Gary.
It was Gary. Yeah. Why would it be Butt Munch?
Because you always named your rival something stupid.
Oh, okay. Mine named mine
like Slapcheek.
Matt. Actually,
you're mean.
Do you remember like I have to go back online, but there was like this underlying story that like with Gary, and I think it's the game where it's like his Raticate died. Have you read this?
Yeah.
And like you're actually the jerk the entire time.
Yeah, because the first time or not the first, but the second time you run into him, he's got like a Raticate or something.
And he like brags about it. He talks it up. He's like, my Raticate.
Yeah, and then later on, you go to like the tower where all the ghost Pokemon are, and he's like bringing his Raticate there to like bury it, and he's like, "You did this," and I'm like, "Whoa, this got dark."
And it's subtle because like he's so villainized, the entire time.
And you're like, "Am I the baddie?"
Yeah, but like also remember, he did everything that you wanted to do, but quicker.
Right.
Because no matter how long,
I don't blame him.
Even if you speed through the game, like he still made it to the Pokemon like Johto Master before you did. So props to Gary. Gary got stuff done.
No, Gary still did a great job.
Good for Gary.
Yeah, good for him.
Good for him.
Or unless his name was Blue, it doesn't matter. You always change his name.
We all
anyway.
know we're talking about.
That's
Gary.
the problem. Everybody changed his name to whatever funny joke they wanted, and you don't ever remember it. It's
I never did that. I was always very much a purist.
Oh,
like,
somebody took the high road.
I did. If like, what's your name? I was like, I'm Ash.
Ash from the cartoon.
Yeah. I could never put my name in there because it felt weird. Like, isn't that right, Dan? I'm like, this isn't me.
Oh, no, yeah.
I can't project myself into
I was just put Red.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, really, even if you had the blue cartridge, you called yourself Red?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I think I just did Ash. I just wanted to be as cool
I
as
was
the
also
10-year-old.
I think that's when I also was playing like Crash Bandicoot and some other games like that. So sometimes I just name it to whatever character was in that, or Soul Calibur, like Siegfried.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, whatever other game I'm playing at the moment, if I went back to it and started a new game, I just changed to whatever main character I just played. So
okay, so jumping around, I know this is gonna be a little bit of a scatterbrain episode. Did you ever actually play the card game?
Yes.
You did? See, I was pure collector.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think
I didn't play it a lot, but I did play it here and there.
I think I tried playing it once, and somebody tried to like explain it to me, and I was like, "Well, this is way too complicated." But then again,
I have another game called Magic the Gathering.
But even when you guys try and explain Magic to me, I can usually play the first 4 rounds, but then it gets to a level where did I die? Did you kill me? No. Well, so what if I do I'm the worst Magic the Gathering player.
Yeah, Dan is really bad at Magic the Gathering. That's fine.
I like Nekasar. I get it.
I made one commander
card.
Yeah.
Everyone gets hurt.
I say certain decks you like that are simple.
Yep. Oh,
you make people draw cards, they get hurt.
Nekasar's my boy. Shout outs to Nekasar.
Like the Pokemon card game's still fun, but it definitely has it's a lot different. It's a lot more just like.
Well, it's like everyone had one move. I didn't really get it.
Yeah, God, it's been so long since I played it. But yeah, like there's moves, there's items, there's different things. Whereas Magic, like they keep adding new rules. Pokemon does here and there, but like it's like a diet version of Magic. It's complicated in some aspects.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as that other one.
But like the big thing, I love the Wall Street trading of the Pokemon cards. Did you have those friends who
absolutely.
You would bring your binders out and all like, I'll give you a holographic Snorlax for Hitmonlee.
This
and
is a Hitmonlee from the alpha.
Oh,
version?
that was me in study hall. Shout outs to Brian Hoots. He was a big trader.
Brian Hoots.
Me and him went back and forth quite a few times. I think I even traded him, no joke, a
Oh.
holographic Charizard. I do. I think if I remember correctly, I got it. And then he convinced me to trade him for like a holographic Snorlax
Oh my.
and one or two other things. And I was like, oh my, because I love Snorlax. And I wasn't playing the game. So I
Right.
didn't really care that like Charizard was this like big OP character. But like at one point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I held a holographic first edition Charizard in my hand.
Wow.
And in 7th grade, I just traded it away.
Well, actually, if you look over here, Dan, I still have my cards on display, my Pokemon cards. Or
Do you
maybe
really?
they're in the cabinet.
Okay, I don't.
But I have a whole case of the first edition right there in that.
So
I don't know if they're worth anything. I don't think they are.
I
but
think
do
some
still
of
have my
them
old
are. I
ones.
think the first generation that we collected,
Yeah.
like you may want to look through them
Maybe.
because I think some of the first generation good ones, because the game is still like ridiculously popular.
Oh, it's actually, I think right now, currently in the year 2022, the year of our Lord Charizard, that it's, I think it's the only TCG trading card game that is still making a hard profit.
Oh yeah.
Because I know the other ones are having a little bit of a struggle fest.
Well, I know
um,
COVID was really really big for the trading card game.
To a
Like,
degree,
and that's not
yeah.
a joke. Like
It killed tournaments, but like,
yeah. But like working at Target, like whenever we had any drops of like new Pokemon, new
Mhm.
Magic, even like
well, yeah, people had to find something to do.
even trading cards, like sports trading cards, like Topps.
Really?
Oh my god! Like we had to literally lock them up because people would come in and just like bum rush the walls.
Whoa.
Like I think our vendors, because just to give you a heads up, we don't get them in the mail. Like vendors come in and then they restock them.
They come in the dead of night
yeah,
and
but
restock the
no,
shelf.
people would come in like, "When's your vendor getting here?" We're like, like they don't
Actually,
work for us. We
I
have
only
no
know that
idea.
because I was one of those people that stocked them for one of the
see?
Magic sets.
Yeah, see, I knew it. You
I
got
knew
that
it. I knew-
stalker kind of.
I had inside information that a Magic the Gathering set that I wanted was coming at like midnight, and I got there and they never showed. And I was like,
See,
they came at 2 a.m. and I had given up at that
dude,
point.
I'm telling you, the vendors learned. Like they were tired of getting just like bombarded, so they
It's
started
smart,
like
though, I get
changing
it.
up their schedules until late at night, and so they could come stock it in peace. But the second one person found out,
Yep.
then everyone would call the Spider Network. Oh, sorry.
Oh
the
yeah,
mic.
the minute one person found out, it was
And
like
then
a
it was
web
just
of
boom
telling
done.
everybody.
We had like to queue, like we had to make its own line. You could only have one pack a day per person.
Oof.
Oh, it got rough. It got real cutthroat there for a straight minute.
Man.
Yeah, I know. So okay, so we've
So
gone
yeah,
through
back to the video games.
back to the video games. But I think we're missing probably one of the biggest Pokemon games
Other
that's
gasp.
still right now.
What's that?
Pokemon
Go.
right? You playing that?
I did. So when it first dropped, I think everybody did.
Not everyone.
Not everyone. You didn't.
I didn't. I never
Get
got
out. You didn't jump on the bus.
I didn't have a phone that was good enough.
Oh, touche. All right, that makes sense.
Like we were never like the newest gen, so I think whenever it was like 7 or 8, I was at 6.
So I played it for a good like 4 or 5 months. I kind of got bored of it after that.
Sure.
Like it was fun for a little bit. I just walked up my neighborhood back and forth, you know, went to certain places. It's a great concept. It's fun. I get why people love it. But like, I don't know. I kind of got tired of it after 5 months, but it's still a solid
Oh, it's
game.
huge.
Yeah.
Like I think just last week they had another massive Pokemon Go convention in Chicago.
That's the thing. I think if you're in a major city, it's probably way more fun
Yeah.
because you have a lot more landmarks. You have a lot more places to actually mingle with and do that with. And plus, they give you better Pokemon if you're in bigger cities. I found out too.
Oh yeah. Well, so my brother-in-law Jason has this amazing story because he still plays it to this day. Him and Brooke, my sister.
I say I know your sister.
Still, they
does,
still love it. So they were down in Hawaii, just on a vacation, right? And they did a volcano tour, so you
Oh,
can
I'm
go
sure they got some
da-da-da-da.
good ones on
And
that.
so I guess they did this like long winding path that not a lot of people go to. And they get to the end of it and find out there's a Pokemon gym at the very, very, very end of it. And so
Really?
Jason's like, oh, hey, there's a Pokemon gym over here. So he claims it, right? Does the whole thing,
Yeah,
fights,
sure.
blah, blah, blah. He kept that thing for like 6 months.
Wow.
And he would constantly check and he's like, yep, I guess no one, or maybe they cut down the path because it's volcano season.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe he got lucky and like the
And
season just didn't allow it.
So for the great longest while, he would just collect all these, whatever you get from the gym.
Oh yeah, like potions and
Yeah,
stuff.
and so he would
balls,
just be
yeah.
like, yep, no one's taking it again. And then finally one day, all of a sudden it's like, you have been defeated or something like that.
He's like, finally, I'm
Like,
bored.
Yep, and I know we did that when we went to Ireland too.
That's
There was
cool.
like this little place outside of Dingle that he found a gym that like no one went to.
I remember when I was over in Amsterdam with our friend Rachel Ackerboom.
Look how worldly we are.
We're so worldly. And Emily Regnery.
Regnery.
I love her last. I love saying her last name. Shout out to you, Emily. But like,
she doesn't listen.
She ain't gonna listen.
She doesn't listen.
She's not gonna get mad at me for mispronouncing the name. But no, I remember one night they were both passed out in the hotel room, and I was like, I'm bored. I went. They had a nice little balcony in Amsterdam. And I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful out here. Pokemon Go started.
Yep.
And we were right next to like an art museum, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just try and take this. But no, everybody there also had amazing lineups, and I'm like, I can't conquer anything over here.
It was worldwide.
Oh, it was huge.
When we lived in Chicago, I remember I just moved up there, and me and Tiff were walking around. It was like 2 a.m. downtown Chicago. Well, not downtown, but in like Wicker Park, Bucktown. And we're just trying to catch a Weedle. And all of a sudden we're just walking around and you take a corner and there's two people and we kind of got like a little jump scared. We're like, and it's two other people literally like, did you see there's a bell sprout around here somewhere? We're like 2 blocks down and to the left. That's where we got ours.
That's what you're going to worry about? It's a bell sprout?
It's just something. I don't know. Like we were all like, it was just a good time. It was a fun time.
So did you ever catch that Weedle or?
I don't remember it, Matt. This was like 10 years ago.
Oh.
So
Fair enough.
but I imagine we did because we were very pot committed.
I mean, if you're that pot committed where you're
Like,
going in the middle
2
of the park
a.m.
in
like
Chicago, yeah.
downtown Chicago, just trying to get a Pokemon.
We just gotta catch them all.
And
Please don't shoot.
And we're mugged.
And I lost my wallet.
They took my phone too. Okay.
Oh, my
Wah, wah, wah.
Pokemans.
But I guess the real question, Matt,
Yes.
is who was your fictional lineup?
Oh, yeah.
So first of all,
Wait,
no, wait,
the ones I actually owned or the ones I wish
Hold on.
I
First
had?
of all, the first real question is:
Yes.
Are you a Charmander, a Squirtle, or a Bulbasaur, or a Bulbasaur?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You gotta
Yeah.
hit
Who was your?
that-
Yeah, everybody always
Who's your
asks
first
that.
three?
Actually, that's what they always ask too. Like whenever you run into somebody, you find out they're like, "Oh, who's your starter?"
Who's your starter?
I gotta say, I'm a Squirtle kid.
Your Squirtle kid?
I love Squirtle.
I can respect it.
What are you?
I went Bulbasaur.
You know what? Funny enough, Bulbasaur was always my second favorite.
Charmander was always my third.
Yeah, same.
I just I just didn't
Nothing
care for
against him. He has a great evolutionary path.
him. Sure.
But like, I don't know, I love Squirtle's endgame. Like Blastoise, like
Oh yeah, the
dude
turtle with
has cannons coming out of his shell.
And I think deep down, like watching the TV show, like Charmander in it was like Charmander was cute.
He was cute.
Charmeleon was a jerk, and Charizard was a straight pain in the tuchus.
To be fair though, would you want to follow a 10-year-old?
Well, and I get it, but like I was like, oh, I'm
not following a 10-year-old.
Sounds terrible.
I can fly.
But like Bulbasaur was always the cool one. Like remember in the
Yeah.
show where he's like, I'm gonna have you evolve, and Bulbasaur was like hell you are, and like kept smacking it away. And like I just like Bulbasaur was all like Bulbasaur knew what Bulbasaur was about.
Right.
And I'm all for it.
And
you know?
Squirtle started a gang.
Squirtle started like a self-help group. That was great.
That was
He did have
wonderful.
the cool glasses.
Yeah.
That was the Squirtle Squad.
I always loved his evolutionary path more than the other two. And Bulbasaur, yeah, turning into Venusaur and Ivysaur and all that, like
It's fun. I
just
like
turned
how-
into a giant plant monster.
But I love
yeah.
how so the Squirtle, Bulbasaur, they're little tiny guys.
Right.
And then like Wartortle and like Ivysaur, I keep on the same kind of like they're a little bigger,
Yeah.
but by no means. But then you hit like Blastoise and Venusaur,
Yeah.
and you're like the size of a freaking house.
Yeah, like freaking tanks
like
coming
good
out.
lord, that was
Plus,
a
if
huge
you
jump.
picked Bulbasaur or Squirtle, the first two gyms weren't so bad.
yeah,
Whereas if you picked Charmander, you're like, oh, hard mode, I guess.
yeah, well, just the first one.
Well,
But
you got water at the second one.
oh, that's true. But by the time you're at the second one, like you should have a pretty decent
Right.
lineup.
However, for me, once you get to like the electric gym, you're like,
Okay, so clearly we're a Squirtle Bulbasaur group, which I'm
right.
very happy with. I keep in good company.
Yeah, and I still like Charmander, but
he's
yeah,
fine.
Squirtle,
He
I
gets
just
all my
like
respect.
Squirtle
I just
better.
never chose him.
Right.
But then, all right. So let's talk about, and again, 152 to
the
one.
original lineup. Yep.
Original lineup. Who's your top three?
Oh,
Come on, we did some research. You got to have at least two.
I didn't
prep
even
for
research
this.
for that. Oh man, I know, but it's just I've always been a fan of the ghost type. So
Sure. And don't
Gengar.
worry about spreading it out. Like we're not fighting each other. We're just talking.
Oh no,
about
just your favorite
just your
three.
favorite three.
I would have to say Gengar.
Gengar,
Yeah,
very cool.
because Ghastly Haunter Gengar, like
Sure,
the
yep.
ghost. Love the ghost Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, I love Snorlax.
Okay.
He's just. It's just such a stupidly weird.
He
one.
knows what he's about. He just wants to
It's
take
just
a
an
nap.
annoying blob on the
Like-
road, and I love it.
I love him. Cool.
Because I would love to see like
Gengar
just somebody
and
like
Snorlax.
like in a real life situation, if you had a Snorlax and you were like, I'm gonna fight you, it's like it just comes out and it's asleep.
Yeah,
It doesn't do anything.
And then like his big thing is he's grumpy because he woke up and he just
Right.
and he lays on the other Pokemon.
I would love if he just goes, it's not 5:30 yet, 15 more minutes.
Snorlax, you CPAP. And he gets up because he can finally breathe properly.
He stands up, punches him, chugs some NyQuil, lays back down.
Snorlax need this.
Doctor recommended.
Good. So you got one more.
Oh man,
You got Gengar.
I like the weirdest ones.
That's you're gonna love mine. My
jeez.
three are my favorite three in the whole
The whole
freaking-
thing.
The whole thing.
Honestly, after that, my other favorite was probably you're gonna think it's weird. The Geodude and his
Oh
his
yeah,
transformations.
Geodude was really
Because
cool.
Geodude's just such another silly,
Just
stupid,
a rock with
just
like
a rock with
Popeye
with
arms,
awesome
Like,
biceps.
Just like he just looked. It's like if a rock took steroids.
I remember. I had no
And
idea
then he
what that
turned
was.
into a rock turtle there
Yeah,
for a little bit
yeah.
too.
So like in the cartoon, the first time I ever saw him, he was just like Geodude. I'm like, it's just a rock with arms.
To be fair, his name should have been Geo Bro,
right?
because he's like clearly
Oh,
benches man. Like Geodude clearly goes like, "How much do you lift, bro?" Like he's definitely at the gym.
Something
all the
about
time.
it, I just couldn't stop laughing when I first saw him.
He's
I'm like, I
ridiculous.
freaking love it. It's just such a weird concept.
All right, my number one is Mankey.
Mankey. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, "What is this?"
Right. Yeah.
It's like a pig primate thing.
It's
that
actually
just-
the missing link in our evolutionary
like
chain.
I just every time I see him, I just go, "Okay, like,
Sure.
sure." He's got a pig nose and he's just kind of a fuzzy ball with like
and he punches
with
a lot.
like monkey arms. I was like, "Cool, love him."
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Don't know why. Number two is Farfetch'd.
Oh
I can't get behind a duck with a leak that just smacks the living crap out of everything. Like
Yeah.
that is by far
Farfetch'd
and
is
away-
good.
What's he do? He walks up and just whap like a
He's
duck.
just a
with-
jerk. He just walks up and whack.
And I think also at the same time, he's like the laziest Pokemon that they came up with. He's a duck.
Yeah.
Like there's
What's his thing? He grabs a leak.
Got a sword, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you can't give him a sword. Well, I don't know, a leak. Yeah, sure.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, that's and then number three. Let's bring it down for a second
Oh.
because it's got to be Cubone.
Cubone. Yep.
Cubone and the most depressing storyline in all of Pokemon history.
Right.
And for those who don't know, Cubone is this little reptilian little guy who wears the skull of his mother on his face
As a helmet.
As a helmet.
Yeah.
And that's every Cubone. Every Cubone wears
Yeah.
the skull of his mother. And then he evolves into Marowak, which like I guess the
It's just a bigger.
the thing fuses to his head,
I
right?
think
Isn't that the
I
big
think so,
evolution? Is
yeah.
that like his because his face is now white, but
You would think. I don't know.
no, Mankey,
Well, they
Cubone,
evolve
and
so
Farfetch'd.
fast. It's not.
I just
I mean, it takes like what most reptiles to shed their skin, like maybe an hour or something, maybe less. These guys are like blink.
boom. Well,
I'm
I mean,
big.
you just touch some with a stone, and it's like,
Yeah.
and we're done.
Oh God, could you imagine if humans were like that? Oh, I got you a turquoise. Oh no, that's
It's
what
like,
that's my
and-
evolving stone.
And you hit puberty, you're done.
Oh man, that'd be a funny concept. Like, so I mean, you got to think about it. We're animals; they're animals.
We
What
are.
if in the Pokemon world, certain birthstones make people evolve faster? Like your own birthstone makes you, oh puberty, oh I'm an
But
adult.
what if it's
Oh no more.
But
Nursing home.
What if it's not even evolving? It's just if you get too close to this stone, you age faster.
Right.
So like you're doing everything in your power to like stay away from these things, or if you want to grow up faster, you just get real close to them. You just
Right.
carry some pearls in your pocket,
And
all of a
then
sudden
you
you're
regret
35. And then you could ride those roller coasters. See, Big would be a completely different movie.
Oh yeah,
if
in
it
the
was
Pokemon
in the
universe.
Pokemon
yeah.
universe, he would just hang around with some emeralds.
Benjamin
there for a
Button
little.
would be. Oh, that movie over pretty quick.
I never saw that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, he ages reverse. So
Oh,
if
I
he
get
ran into
it.
a
Yeah, I
stone,
know
he'd
about it, but it just seemed.
Straight to the coffin.
Well, it just seemed heavy. Like
Oh, it's very heavy.
that movie was just like I get the general. I watched the trailer and I was like, I get what this movie's trying to
Daniel,
do.
if you remembered Arthurian legend, Merlin also ages back.
I get it, but at least he's fun about it,
Right.
and he's not. Brad
Especially the
Pitt.
Disney version. He's very fun.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Remember,
fine.
he turns into a squirrel.
And, well, everyone he turns into a fish too.
Oh, that's true.
That's complete side note. So I started to read The Once and Future King. Right?
Right.
Yeah,
that
I
is a
know.
side
We're taking a hard left turn. Sorry, Pokemon fans, but we're going to talk
Okay.
about King Arthur here for a second because I was like, I want to start reading like the real Arthurian legend story.
Sure.
Right. And I thought it was going to be very, matter of fact and like very serious. No, he turns into a fish. Like all that stuff in Sword in the Stone is in Once and Future King.
No
with
kidding.
Lord. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, okay. So like this is like canon that they go and turn into fish and they go hang out at the bottom of the moat there for a little bit.
Huh. All right.
Fun
Well,
fact.
good job.
Back to Pokemon.
Anyways. Touching stones.
Touching stones. That should be the title of this Pokemon.
That should be the new game. Touching stones.
Touching stones.
And it's nothing but Pokemon that can evolve with stones. Be a short list.
I'm trying to think if I had to have one more out of the 150 who I really, really liked. Hey, by the way, please feel free to leave your favorite Pokemon in the comments section below. Click like and subscribe.
I swear if they counter mine, I'm going to be so mad.
If it's the one I hate, then you're dead to us.
That's right. And I
Dead to us.
Actually, I don't think I hate any of them.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Which ones do you hate? Weedle, Bug type.
I'm okay with Bug.
I
don't mind Bug.
it just never did.
Beedrill's fun because it's terrifying.
He's fine.
It's the size of a person.
Butterfree's just a giant butterfly.
Butterfree's a little boring.
Yeah.
Honestly, not a big fan of Jigglypuff. I know a lot of people are.
I felt Scyther was a lot more intimidating than I thought he'd be.
Oh man, yeah, Scyther was scary.
Scyther!
I mean, that's
Like,
it's the size of you.
I know.
And it's coming out of the grass.
And even every time he says his name, it sounds like he's about to murder somebody.
Yeah.
Like just it's a real guttural kind of thing.
Jigglypuff also Porygon. Didn't really care for that.
Oh, really? I thought that was fun.
Didn't care for the virtual
3D
reality.
Virtual reality.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's fun.
I was like, okay, that's weird.
I remember you run into him at the swamp level in Pokemon Snap.
Yes.
Because I remember going, this makes no sense. Why is he in this level?
I guess it's a it's a simulation.
Oh God. Well, I mean
The swamp wasn't real.
Well, I mean, it's a video game, so none of it's real.
Well, I guess technically they could put him anywhere then.
Yeah, I mean that's just the whole thing. So
what about you? What was your least favorites?
least favorite outside of the bug ones, I don't know. Onyx wasn't really ever my favorite. Giant.
Oh, I liked Onyx.
He's fine.
I'm a rock snake.
Yeah, I'm a
serpent.
rock snake thing.
I'm a rock version of the worms from Beetlejuice.
So fun fact. So Matt and I years ago went to a Comic-Con.
Don't tell him how you showed me your rock snake.
Well, I mean, inappropriate. Hi, David. But so we went and if you know Matt, then you know that like one of his favorite games of all time is Street Fighter, right?
Yes.
And so Matt actually has a pretty decent resemblance to what's his name? Who's the blonde guy?
Wow, that's stereotyping.
Is it
Ken.
No,
Or Guile?
no. The Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, Guile.
So Matt actually dressed up as Guile, like did his hair up, and like he had the wife beater on, and like
The
camo
green
pants.
fatigues.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, everyone's gonna come up to me, and they're gonna be like, oh man, you're Guile, and everyone's gonna take photos. Literally, everyone thought he was like Sergeant like Shocker or whatever.
Oh
it was.
yeah,
everyone thought
That's right.
Like, everybody
thought I was the guy from Pokemon.
Yeah, we walked
Lieutenant Sarge.
Yeah, Lieutenant Surge. Like everyone.
My words.
It's like
Surge,
you're Lieutenant Surge, right? He's like, I'm Guile. They're like, you're Lieutenant Surge.
And I'm like,
And he just gave up. By the end of the time, he's like, yes.
and I had to go back that day, and I was like, oh my god, no, I do kind of like Lieutenant
the
Surge.
second the first person said that, we're like, oh, Matt.
Oh,
no.
Matt's not gonna have a good time.
Like you're gonna have to change your whole game plan.
Actually,
for the day.
I still had a great time that time.
Oh, we had a great time.
Yeah, because that was the same Comic-Con where James Hong choked me
Oh, hey.
out of nowhere for no reason, and it was great.
Was that the one where we got to like hug Foggy Nelson?
We did no, that was a different one.
That was a different one?
That was later on because
Okay.
Daredevil wasn't a thing then. This was like the first Comic-Con in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember because I didn't dress up at all. So like I ended up having to hold all of your guys' stuff.
That
all
was
of
the foggy
photos.
one. Yeah.
That-
Because I dressed as Link from the 8-bit NES version. And then
That's
because
right.
I made my sword out of wood
That's right.
to make it and painted it like that crappy 8-bit. And then like
I told
I
everyone.
had a giant key with me.
That's
Yeah.
right. I told everyone I was the human version of the bag of holding
Yes.
because I literally just held all of your merch.
and then
and
that's when
everything while you
Daredevil was
guys were
popular
yep.
and the TV show, and you and I hugged Foggy.
Oh,
together.
we asked if we could gingerly rub his belly.
Yes.
And he said yes. So the guy who plays Foggy Eldrin, God, I'm blanking on his name.
I am.
But
too at the
hey,
moment.
shout outs to him for being a really
yeah,
cool,
he was awesome.
real cool Comic-Con
Great
guy.
guy.
We've had pretty great luck running into
Really have.
celebrities at Comic-Con. I mean, we have to pay them, but that's just par for the course.
Not always though.
How so?
Billy D.
Billy D, you didn't have to pay Billy D.
No, he went by on a golf cart and gave me a little fist bump.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, in any other situation, $45.
And I just I looked at my hand. I'm like, oh my God,
He's
that's
like,
all
all right, hey.
Yeah, he went, hey.
Yo.
Because remember in the very beginning, they didn't have a lot of they didn't know what they were doing. So people didn't have behind the scene. They just went right through the middle of the crowd with some of their people. And I was like, oh crap. I just got.
I know we're off topic right now, but I like talking about Comic-Con.
Oh, it was a great time.
The coolest celebrity that I ever ran into is Shane from The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
That guy was God, what's his name? Oh, I feel so stupid right now.
You're really good with that.
I know, I really am.
Weird of you.
John Berthnall did it.
There
Got
you
it.
go.
So we were walking up, and we'll get back to Pokemon. Everyone just
Actually, this story involves Pokemon.
It can. And then so we were looking for Pokemon in Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Wink,
yeah,
wink,
yeah.
there it is. And so he's just sitting at his table all by himself. Just no managers, no nothing. And so we walk the little crazy, line to get there, the stanchions, and you're doing this back and forth. And we get to him and we're like, hey man, is it cool if we have a photo? It was me and two other friends, Christina and Angelina.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I don't and he's looking back and forth and he's rubbing his bald head because that's what he does all the time. And he's like, yeah, come on, quick. So he runs around the table and he hands the phone to somebody and we're right about to take a photo of all three of us. And all of a sudden we hear wait, no. And he's like, guys, I tried to get it before the manager came. And she's like, that's $45. This is his publicist is sprinting across the floor knowing
My
that
job is at stake.
And so he's like, guys, I tried. And so we're like, it's fine. We split the money, had the photo, but he really tried to get us a free photo before the person came back and paid for it.
That's great.
He's a good guy. Yep, good guy. And then we found a Squirtle.
Look at that.
I did there?
Incorporated it back in.
Brought it back
But real
around.
quick, one last time. My favorite story with Dan with the celebrity is Dan meeting
this the
Dan Aykroyd.
story.
One of his biggest role models of all time. Yeah.
God.
How'd that go, Dan?
Not great.
Was it at a
Matt.
Sam's Club?
No. Okay. Well, if we're gonna do this, okay. So
Real quick.
Long story short, me and Alex Drury, shout out to Alex Drury, we were gonna go see Dan Aykroyd. He is my idol. The man wrote Ghostbusters, and that fundamentally changed my life, right? And so he was doing this tour promoting his Crystal Head vodka.
Good stuff, by the way.
Good stuff. Yeah,
Go buy it if you're of age.
Shout outs to Crystal Head. If you guys would like to sponsor us, that would be great too.
Oh man, good stuff too.
It really is. It's the smoothest.
So
Anyways,
smooth. If you're 21,
if you're over 21. So we got to the Sam's Club and it was a 4-hour long wait. It wound around the whole entire Sam's Club and out the door. But me and Drury are like, you know what? We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. It's Dan Aykroyd. We deserve it. So we're probably 90% away through the line, and he's supposed to stop signing autographs at 3, and it's 2:50, and we're not gonna make it. They're gonna cut it. And all of a sudden, the loudspeaker, Dan Aykroyd is going to stay and sign everyone's autograph. Don't worry about it. Cool. So they didn't let any more people on the line, but he was gonna wait until the line was gone. Dan Aykroyd's legit
because he's a good guy.
He's a great guy. Blah 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 blah. So we finally get there. Alex is first. Takes the photo, no hitches, and I'm nervous. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do I say? I had this speech in my head, what you wrote with your friends, that's how I made my friends and other people play baseball. I went into the playground and said, who wants to play Ghostbusters? And that's how I made friends. And that's all from his brain, And so I got there. And I also had this 4-pack of Ghostbuster Toys R Us exclusive action figures.
I know where it's going.
And then I was going to have him sign it. And so I get up there and I have butterflies in my stomach. I have no idea what to say. And he goes, oh, hey, hi. And I go, my name's Dan too. And that's it. That's it. That's what
and
I
you know
got.
what that sounds like?
And I just, what?
It sounds like every bug trainer in Pokemon. I like bugs.
And he went, and he just went oh yeah. And I'm like, yeah.
Which is the appropriate.
And then I shut it down. And then I just stare at the camera because I realized that all of the speeches that I've just tried to prepare are garbage. And so then that's part one. So then I'm like, oh, gotta get out of there. And so then he's looking at the 4-pack that I brought, right? Because he gets to sign that. And so he's like, oh, hey, I don't think I've seen this before, because Dan Aykroyd's legit, and tried to restart a conversation.
Yep.
And I went, okay, but it's mine. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, oh, okay. So he signs it and I walk away and I was like, you're my idol? Like, I was dying inside.
Man.
Dying inside.
Seriously, you turn into a bug trainer.
Oh my
like
God.
just walking in the
was
woods.
So
Want to see my bugs?
embarrassed to never meet your idols. It was the worst.
Oh, that's so great.
And so then we like, it doesn't end there. And so then you go over so you can pick up the Crystal Head vodka that he has pre-signed, right? Because you can
Right.
buy it. And I was like, oh, I'll buy one,
Sure.
support him and all that stuff. And I guess after me, he decided he was going to take a 15 because, he's allowed to
he
take
needed
15.
a break after
Yeah, and
you.
I was a little much. And he walks back over and he just stands next to me. And I just go like, I was up there with you. And he goes, yeah, I remember. And then he just bounces and walks away. And I was like, oh my gosh. Dan Aykroyd thinks I'm a moron. Oh, shout outs to Dan Aykroyd. Like, if you're listening to this, buddy, you're my idol, and I'm so sorry.
God, I wish I could have been there.
God, it was and like I remember Drury just looked over me. He's like, "That was embarrassing for you," and I was like, "Yes, that was very embarrassing for me."
Man, that's horribly embarrassing.
Oh yes, don't meet your idols, and if you do have a pre-planned speech
Please
written
do, yeah.
down that you can relate to
Or
them.
something, man.
Yep, sorry about that. Well, that was but Pokemon, right?
Right.
That's what we're talking about here tonight.
See, Dan, this is why you get stuck picking bug Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm a bug Pokemon trainer.
I like bugs.
You want to talk about my Weedle?
It can harden real good.
He's got a little spike and a little tail. How about my Metapod? He's like a boomerang.
I will say though, for the Game Boy one, after beating it so many times, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a bug Pokemon trainer.
God.
I spent I went through the game once just using bugs. It's possible, but man, is it hard.
The other like heavily infuriating thing that always triggers me when I think about the game is like finding an Abra and then having it phase away.
Oh man, that was the most
wanted an
infuriating.
Abra so bad
Because they're
but-
so good.
but like you couldn't even attack it.
No.
You literally had to have something that like paralyzed it and then waste 30
Or you had to get
Pokeballs.
stupidly lucky.
Or you had to get stupid lucky, but
And then
every
you had
time,
to trade him to evolve him for
Yeah.
the final one. I'm like,
I couldn't even
"Ugh."
catch him, let alone get to that point.
Yeah, you're lucky if you get one.
Yeah, because at the end, remember, one of the like world leaders always had an
Mm-hmm.
Alakazam
Yep.
and would wreck you, like
Yup.
just Psybeam. Whew.
And then you get to the dragon guy Lance.
Oh,
and
the
he's like,
dragon guy.
welcome to Pain World.
Like, have you heard of Tri-Beam, Ice Beam, Psybeam, Hyper Beam? Got all the beams.
I got
Like,
all the beams
right
and all the
at
dragons.
you. Oh, is that a Weedle? Like,
Quickly,
just
Weedle, harden.
exploded.
Show him how hard you are.
I always loved how it's like, this thing fainted. No, it died. Like,
Oh no, it's dead.
it's dead. That was a Dragonite versus a Weedle. Nothing survived this.
Surprised the dragon didn't just walk away.
Just eat it. Like, just eats it.
just blows on it and falls over.
Or just the shock of what it's against. Weedle died of a self-inflicted heart attack.
Quickly, Weedle, wriggle away, wriggle away.
Weedle developed anxiety. Weedle developed PTSD. Like,
Then every so often you get a bill from its therapist.
like Weedle decided to not come out of his Pokemon today.
He comes out, put me back in.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Put me back in.
Oh, we kid. All right,
Oh,
Matt, are you
wow.
ready to I don't
Take
know
a
how
break.
long
Yeah,
this has
I need
been.
to.
We did take kind of a Comic-Con there tour.
We did. I think we'd take a quick 15-minute yoga break to realign our
Chakras, maybe
yeah.
a little bit, and then we'll come out with our Pokemon game.
Our Pokemon games that
Warning.
we want.
Warning, it's gonna be a little adult.
It's gonna be a little
We're
dark.
going for the dark side of the moon here.
because they're all happy
Yeah.
to a degree.
And then I want to spice it up. Like I did.
Yeah, spice it
I
up.
know the newest Pokemon world was like a little bit more open range. It wasn't top down.
Right.
It was like kind of Breath of the Wild, where you
Which
could
is
run
cool.
around, which I'm down for.
Which they should have done
but
a long time ago.
I think we're gonna take it a step further.
Ooh.
Ooh. So we will see you on the other side of these breaks.
I'm hardening with
Hey,
anticipation.
David, take it away.
Take us away.
Hey there, podcast listeners. I am David,
And I'm Kate.
and together we host a podcast that you might be interested in if you like The Legend of Zelda.
There are lots of awesome podcasts out there and a lot of awesome Zelda podcasts out there.
That's right, Kate, and we are another one of them. In fact, that is the name of our show, Another Zelda Podcast.
And in our show in particular, we talk about some of our favorite dungeons, characters, boss battles. We do a couple top 10 lists here and there.
We have some deep dive episodes, and we even pepper in a couple quiz episodes. episodes.
We talk about our own experiences, we do some review episodes, talk about our challenges, our struggles, and our victories.
That's right. If it has to do with The Legend of Zelda, we talk about it.
You can check out our episodes on our website, anotherzeldapodcast.com.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and a lot of the other podcast services that are out there.
And you can also check out our episodes on our website, anotherzeldapodcast.com.
All right, we will see you there.
Okay, bye.
I'm going to sing a sad song.
Every year, Pokemon go without basic needs, whether it's shelter, food, or a nice place to stay. They require donations from people like you to keep them alive. Whether it be a Charmander in need of keeping a bucket over his precious little Flametail to keep him alive. Or perhaps a Spoinkle who needs a trampoline-type object to keep his little tail going. Because remember, that powers his heart. Only you and your pennies on a dollar can keep a Jinx off the streets or a Snorlax out of his sheets. Donate now by subscribing or liking or, giving us 5 stars on our podcast. Because if you don't, any one of them won't survive. Or maybe they will. I don't know. I can't really tell you. I'm not really in charge of them. I myself, I don't really own any of those Pokemon, but I'm sure they will suffer in some way.
Just imagine an animal that's hurt.
But yes, be their savior.
Hey, this is TC,
And this is Jim from the Studio Demands It podcast,
where every episode we take a demand from a hypothetical studio
which could be you.
and challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the stipulations
Or the demands
we are given. We talk about movies all the time. Particularly, we complain about the choices made in the films we've seen.
We're nerds like that.
And, of course, like any good nerd does, we automatically assume that we could do better.
Even with the demands and restrictions that clearly must have been put on by a production.
So head on over to studiodemandsit.com and listen to our previous library of episodes. Our library of previous episodes. Our precious library, Jim. Our library of precious episodes.
You're a pirate, Smeagol.
Okay, so head on over to studiodemandsit.com to listen to our library of episodes.
And submit your demand for a future episode too.
So go do that.
Okay, bye.
Okay, end of ad.
Oh,
God.
Sorry. I was asleep. I woke back up.
Man, I'm on like cup of coffee number 4.
Oh, yeah. I've been feeding you coffee tonight, so
It's
you're
great.
ready.
You know what I feel like at this point?
What's that?
You know that Futurama episode where he has so many cups of coffee that he all of a sudden
yeah.
like sees things completely clearly?
Time slows down and he fixes
Yeah,
everything.
he stakes the fire, saves the whole building.
Fry does it, yeah.
I'm at that point right now on these
Wow.
coffees. I'm feeling great. Feeling
Oh, that's right,
great.
because I got the money and then
Yeah, everyone got like $100 back.
they got like a ridiculous amount of money back, and he spent it all on coffee.
$100 on coffee.
Oh, God, I miss Futurama.
All right. Well, David, thank you for bringing us back in. So
It's true. He could have left us out.
He
in the
could have.
ether.
He could have just been like, and that's the series.
And you're staying in the Forbidden Zone.
Dun dun dun. Put a Snorlax in the way so that way no one could get past it anymore.
My ocarina's in the other room.
But now is one of my favorite parts of our entire show.
Absolutely.
For every show is where we just kind of make up a game.
Right. Dan and I have both written down new games that neither of us have seen. And Dan, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Because
we talked about it a little bit.
I like your idea.
So, okay, let's talk about Pokemon in the real world. And I hate that I have to put so much of like an explanation in this, but like Pokemon itself is kind of terrifying if you bring it into real world standards.
Yeah, because I mean they kind of tiptoe into it a little bit, like the anime and stuff. But like, yeah, they don't really go hardcore into like geopolitics, and all that.
But like, I'm talking about like incarceration, and I'm talking about
wow.
No, I know. Just wait. Just hear me out. Because the type of game I'm gonna make is going to be like a Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
Yeah, because like it's geopolitical. Because think about it. These Pokemon, which for all we know, like have DNA, have blood. We've seen them get cut.
I mean, they have to.
They go to the hospital, right? But they can also be digitized and stored in these balls,
that's right. Into the computers.
What in their DNA is different from ours that stops us from also being digitized.
My God, you're right. I never
And
thought
so
about that.
in that aspect, like, can we capture humans and like hold people like hostage? And like, now there are some Pokemon that can like pop out of the ball, you know, if they're too angry or something. Like, we've seen it before, right? Like, you try and catch one.
A force of will, if you will.
A force of will. So maybe humans can't because our will's too strong. I don't know. Like, again, we're playing in.
I'm sorry. I'm just I'm shook with fear at the moment.
But like, so I want a Metal Gear Solid where they're taking these Pokemon and these concepts and using it into like possible like wartime like
Scenarios,
kind of weapons.
Yeah.
And so not only that, like Jigglypuff has the ability to put anyone to sleep. What about the melody would the government and the military try and take and like broadcast it to put like the opposing army to sleep? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, that's
or
that's
like,
a really
you know,
terrifying thought.
it just like using these things that, you know, we think they can only use to each other, but the show has shown that it affects humans as well.
Well, and it's funny you touch on that too, because like even in the game's lore and like the anime and stuff, they always mention there's like this everything after the war. Because I mean, whom they kept mistaking me for at the Comic-Con was Lieutenant Surge.
Mhm.
He's a lieutenant.
Yeah.
He's part of a military.
Yeah.
Like there was a war at some point and or in the past. So did they do the same thing? Did they use these Pokemon as weapons? Of course they did.
But like, what if? Okay, so here's my plot to a
Okay.
certain degree. I'm just freeballing it right now, trying to make it up as we go. So it's in the future, right? Years and years and years in the future, where Pokemon have basically been not eradicated or extinct, but like they're rare. They're so rare, you know, like, and there's still animals, but like the powerful Pokemon. And like people like, oh, back in my like back then, you would see Pokemon running everywhere. And then you play like a government agent, you know, some spy, you know, we can decorate them however we want and all this
Right.
other stuff. But you start to see these like weapons start coming out, and like the weapons no one has ever seen before, poison that no one has ever seen before. Like people are acting crazy, like they're almost hypnotized. And so then your job as this government spy to like figure out, oh, and we can even like, oh, we'll make Team Rocket the bad guys, but that'll be the big reveal in the end that like Team Rocket is the one that actually like went around like mass capturing all of these Pokemon. And they've just been like essentially hoarding all of these Pokemon for themselves because they don't want anyone else to get these powers. So it's like there's going to be like some you know, like DNA mutation. There's going to be like, and so they're like what we're saying, taking all of these Pokemon and just like essentially harvesting them for their powers. And so it's like you going in and you like freeing these Pokemon and getting them back into the world. And, you know, you have your own, you know, I think that's my plot. That's what I'm thinking about.
Audience, what you can't see right now is Matt smiling ear to ear while Dan is explaining this, because he doesn't realize he just explained pretty much the plot to Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, shut up. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
So there's these magical creatures called espers.
Okay.
And what the Empire does is they drain them of their life force to make magic and infuse their vehicles and weaponry with it.
He was literally smiling at me
Because I love Final
and I was
Fantasy
starting
VI.
to get nervous. Like he's just
No,
like
like-
Joker ear to ear smiling at me, and it's like,
It's
Matt,
essentially
say something. You're freaking me
Magitech
out.
armor is what you're talking about, and I love it.
Okay, well,
But
no,
I mean, if you did it with Pokemon, it'd be like a diet version of that, because
Sure.
yeah, it'd be like sleep spells, but it's still a great idea.
but like I
I
don't
still
know,
love
and
it.
like I want to go a little bit more adult with it. I want to make it like dark, you know, because like I said, I want to combat like this same kind of lather, rinse, repeat. Because I think, and another thing is like, so we fell in love with this game when we were, what, 16, 15, 14, something
Probably
like that.
14,
Hey,
13,
we're 36 now. We're adults.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I know. Ugh. But like, I think we love seeing like
Oh, sure.
something that we had taken in a different light. And
Well, I think anything taken in a different light's always fun, because when you do the same thing for years and years and years,
yeah,
like it does need a little, you know, sometimes it's just fun to do an offshoot.
yeah. And like, is it for everyone? No.
That's why
I
like
understand.
Marvel and DC do like multiverse stuff,
Mhm.
because they get bored of doing the same stuff that they've been
So,
doing since the 50s.
I want a Metal Gear Solid about apparently the plot of Final Fantasy VI.
And a little bit of 7.
Okay,
But mainly 6.
But like and then like you, of course, you find a couple Pokemon along the way.
Sure.
And then you get to keep certain ones but they're. Do I want to say they like you refuse to put them in a Pokeball because they've been like captured there and you open up. Oh, there's a part where like these giant doors open up because you found this storage and it's like millions of Pokeballs. Like, and it's every Pokemon that's ever been born.
Yeah, they're born.
Hatched? I mean, Togepi's an egg.
Depends on the type. Some are hatched, some are born. I mean, you got to think some are mammalian.
Yeah.
So they got to be live birth. I mean,
yeah, I guess. I mean,
it's another part they don't really touch on.
Yeah, we don't really talk about that. But like,
or the fact that others eat others.
Just
but, you
these
know.
massive doors open up, and it's like just like Indiana Jones.
Sure. Or even like a farm full of them.
You know what I want it to look like? You know that part in Mass Effect 2 where you're on the Reaper ship and like you finally see all, and you're just like
the containment cells.
Oh my, like just mind blowing how many Pokemon. And then as you walk down, there's like this overly secure room that somehow you break into, and there are just these Pokemon that are like constantly breaking out, but then are constantly being put back in because their will is too strong. So they're being trapped in like just like the torment that some of these Pokemon have been going through.
You went real dark.
I know.
If you were a Pokemon, you'd be a dark type.
Good one.
No, that's all I got.
Like,
Sorry.
that was good. No, I liked it. But like, I don't know, just something.
That's a real type.
Something like that like, I want the story to shine for once in a Pokemon game.
You want the story to evolve.
Oh God, Matt, I can't.
You got to touch it with a stone first.
Good story, Stone.
I press B. It's not going to.
Decline. Another top-down. Collect them all.
I do love the fact that you could stop them from evolving by saying no.
You don't deserve it.
I always pictured the trainer going up to him and shaking it like, no,
smacking it around.
No, you will not get bigger than me.
Or just a glass of water, just like okay. I almost evolved there. Thanks for that.
Thanks. I needed that. I was going to turn into a monster.
Woof. I almost was a better version of myself.
I think that's
I apologize. Whoops. I'm sorry.
Or it has a breakthrough at the therapist. Oh no, it's evolving. Stop. We're not there yet. You're not ready. Oh, thank you. That's why I pay you. But no, I think that's a marvelous idea.
What would you add to it?
Oh no,
I know we have your own one.
So if you wanted to make it,
I want you to sprinkle a little Matt on this one.
If you even wanted to make it more Metal Gear-ish, you could even have them create a whole new.
Not Snake Eater. He's not going to be like chewing on Arbok as this whole thing goes on.
Solid Arbok.
Arbok Eater.
No, I was going to say, you know how they made like Porygon, the one I don't like? You can make a full actual Metal Gear, a Pokemon type.
Oh,
Metal Gear.
What if
nuclear type?
Wait. No. What if they digitally like corrupted Polygon, and that is like the AI that's keeping them all contained. Like they've brainwashed it to where it thinks it's doing like the right thing.
Let's go more into artificial Pokemon because you don't like Porygon. And
See,
stuff.
I don't. So here's the thing. I hate the Jurassic Worlds because they're getting away from dinosaurs we love, and they're just starting to just smash together whatever dinosaur like.
Oh, so you haven't been keeping up with them, so
I haven't watched. Yeah, but like that's just it. It's like who's better than T-Rex? I don't know. We'll just say science created a scarier version. I feel like they've done that like 3 or 4 times. So they're kind of
doing like the Mecha Godzilla thing.
And also, the artificially created one is Mewtwo. Like we already have the
but I'm talking like actual metal, like because Metal Gear in the game is a mobile nuclear launching Gundam type creature.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, like, instead of a Porygon, just it's a cute little. No, this thing actually launches nukes now.
Okay,
and now it's a world threat.
If we change Porygon into,
you can put it into a ball.
If we change the Polygon into like an AI, like I think you could easily make that into where it can crack into any nuclear code,
and that'd be fun too.
They've taken the body away from Polygon, which is like evil, and now it's purely just a digital animal, which is AI. Like they've stripped it of its human source. With it or not human, but Pokemon source. I like this game. I like where this is going.
Another aspect you could do with yours too is like we haven't touched on like viruses and things like that either.
Oh yeah.
Like what if there's a bacteria Pokemon that nobody's talked about and it's plaguing only Pokemon?
Yeah.
And everything's just kind of dying off. And you're like, what's going on? Well, bacteria are alive technically. That's a new type of Pokemon we haven't discovered.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's sad.
Yeah, that is
That's
right.
scary.
Like 38, 28 days later type Pokemon. Yeah.
And then going back to my point, but like they're experimenting on like how to trap humans into the balls.
Yeah.
And like
Why not? Yeah.
Like it just because it's like
You got a rival, throw him in a ball.
Yeah, and it just boom, done. Just
I love it.
Holds it tight. Like you can't get out.
Sure.
So that's my game. That's what I want to see. A Metal Gear Solid
Yeah.
where it's in the future where all like the Pokemon have just been captured by Team Rocket.
And Team Rocket's
it's
turned into
all
this
it's
evil-
all like a massive like
So you wanna see
war-based
a-
corporation.
So you want to see a competent Team Rocket.
Yeah. Yep. Jesse and James will not be here.
No bazookas full of butterflies and nets.
No,
and,
no bubble
random-
guns. No
Yeah.
like hot air balloons in the shape of a
Yeah.
Meowth.
Right.
All that's gone. Like this is a legitimate
No Tommy
multi-billion
guns, yeah.
dollar war manufacturing company.
Right.
That's what I want.
I dig it.
You
I
like it?
I do.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of room to play around with in that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's more story. Like
Oh, sure. You could go any way with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Now mine, mine's not nearly as dark. Well, it's still dark.
oh,
but,
is
like,
it? It's still dark.
It's a lot more simplistic.
Okay.
But I think you're gonna like it regardless.
Throw it at me.
So we're familiar all with Pokemon, obviously, if you're here.
Never heard.
Or
of
not. You know, it's a game. It's an RPG where you capture animals and balls and then make them battle each other.
it. Sure.
Now, what if instead of throwing balls, we had in the old classic Duck Hunt,
Oh God.
or a game like that where you
Wait.
instead of catching them, you trophy game hunt.
You want a trophy game hunt Pokemon?
I kind of do.
Oh my God. Like no. Wait. Instead of Duck Hunt, one of how every bowling alley has those shotgun games.
Those old shotgun
Yeah.
bowling alley arcade games. There was like big game hunter.
Matt.
What?
I don't think I want to be a part of this anymore. Like, I thought mine was dark. You're like, well, what if we straight up shoot him in the face with a shotgun?
It has to be this face. You can shoot him anywhere.
But I think, like, depending on the Pokemon, if you miss, they murder you.
I'm fine with that.
Like, this mouse can, like, literally
I'm sorry,
electrocute
I don't know.
you to death.
Maybe there's something wrong with me, but the idea of shooting these cute creatures for like
Yes.
big game score.
Yes,
Is
that
it bad?
definitely means there's something wrong with you.
Okay.
Yep, that's bad.
Oh, so it's okay to keep them in balls all day and then throw them in a computer and forget about them and let them go insane with no contact with the outside world. But putting them down is too much.
No, don't say putting them down like there's sick
What if there's a
animals.
population control problem?
Oh, that's the thing. Pokemon population control.
There's an episode.
God.
There is an episode in the Pokemon anime where Ash has to catch 30 Tauros in the Safari Zone.
To do some other thing in exchange for whatever. It doesn't matter. There's
Yeah, he
30
catches
of them.
them.
Yeah, but that's
And
overpopulation.
he moves them.
They're in a specialized area and they have over 30 that you can catch because there's a tournament going on. There's multiple people catching them. That's a lot. It's a population control on the Tauroses.
Which Pokemon do you think would be the most delicious to eat?
Oh, great question.
Because I feel like Toro or there's a cow one.
Oh, there is later
There's
on.
a cow one later on.
No, not that one though. Whichever one had the most attachment to Ash would be the most delicious.
Pikachu.
Pikachu, yeah.
Just no, I feel like it'd be gamey. It's running around all
Well,
the
it's
time.
a self-cooking, meat.
I'm trying to think of which one would be the most delicious.
Actually, probably most delicious.
Bellsprout would taste like a salad.
Yeah, Bellsprout vegetarians would go crazy for. Well, actually, they'd have a conundrum then, wouldn't they? Because
Yeah, what
now
do you
the
do?
plants
It's
are walking
like-
and talking.
It's like,
Now you have to be suspicious of every single
Every
plant
single thing.
because it could be a living thing now that actually has like a nervous system.
sorry, vegetarians.
Because they feel
no room
pain.
for you
I've
in
seen a
this world.
Bellsprout faint. I've seen them go, oh, yeah.
Victory Bell. I'm trying to think. Oh God! Now my brain's just racking through.
Well, let's think about this. Which one is the fatty? I guess Snorlax. Because fat
Snorlax.
equals usually flavor.
yeah,
So I guess Snorlax or
I don't know, but
Jigglypuff
that's a
or-
lot of like how much meat's there. I mean, I feel like it's just mostly fat. I wouldn't want to eat
True,
just
you
fat.
That's right. You do. There'd be a lot of gristle and fat. You
It'd
probably got to
be
find
too
someone.
much. You'd go
You need
too
a
much
good
gristle.
balance. Obviously, no rock types. Obviously,
right.
yeah.
Like bug types, I think are right on out.
Yeah, bug types are out.
Gee, like I don't know.
Man, this is a real stumper.
Ugh, God, I know. Like I'm thinking like
Fat to meat ratio. Which Pokemon?
I wish we had a list of all of them right now.
I mean, I'm going through them in my head, and I'm just trying to visualize.
who would be like
I mean, I guess it really depends
I mean,
if you
Tauros,
like Tauros, yeah.
I think like they'd be the steak bearers.
I mean, if you like fish and seafood, Gyarados.
oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's tons of fish.
Gyarados
like,
would probably be the most delicious.
Dratini, I feel would be an amazing
there we
sushi.
go. Yeah.
Like just Dratini with a little rice underneath it, little soy sauce.
See, so you're all in favor of my game of like a big game
Wait.
hunter.
But what if it's like those like mobile games where you have to chop up, you do the kitchen thing?
Oh, you mean like a job game?
Like Dinner Dash, like Dinner Dash, where it's like somebody ordered the Dratini.
Okay,
and you
okay,
just
so-
have to like throw it on the meat cleaver.
So, okay, so we'll make it like a burger time
A
slash
burger time
duck hunt.
slash duck hunt.
You got to hunt. So you're gonna start. Let me rephrase my idea here.
This is
Now
gone
with this new
south.
information,
This has gone south.
we're going. The game is you pick a region in the Pokemon world and you have to
Okay.
open a new restaurant.
That's it.
Whether it's land-based, sea-based, or air-based creatures.
Oh, each level's different. Each
level's
level, like
different.
there's a sea base.
Depending on which region you go to is what the
Got it.
delicacy
Yep.
is. And it can be from any of the generation of Pokemon. But every once in a while you get a weirdo who wants, let me eat a Geodude. And you're like, oh crap, how do I cook a Geodude?
How do you
Well, you gotta get a hammer and go knock it out first.
That's
Because
true.
bullets aren't gonna do much versus the rock type.
bullets?
So you either gotta get a
Oh, I
mallet and a
love this.
chisel, or you gotta get some sort of other.
I love this.
Yeah.
Oh, Jigglypuff.
So that'd be another aspect of it.
Jigglypuff would be really good, like a
Oh,
dessert.
yeah. But I think the key aspect though was you have to find and use multiple different weapons, and you have to figure out which weapon's best to take out which set
Without hurting them, because remember, we still.
Well,
need
it's
to
got to be
keep-
humane.
It's
yeah.
got to be humane.
And you got to pass the bylaws of the region,
Oh God,
which apparently is run by the gym leaders because
Sure.
there's no actual central government from what I've
what
seen.
the gym leader says goes.
Because it's a bunch of 10-year-olds in gyms running the place.
Who's the egg Pokemon? Where it's just 4 eggs that hung out
Togepi.
together. Togepi. No, I'm talking.
Togepi.
No, that's one egg.
You're
They're
execute.
Executor or
Yeah,
execute.
ex-
Like those are just eggs.
But then it evolves into like a palm tree with coconuts.
But still, like
God, that one made
like
no
just
sense.
we killed thousands of executors
To
because
make
like
this one
like it's an omelet.
Enjoy.
Yeah, congratulations. This has.
I think you could do like a
17
cooking mama / burger time.
I think you
with
could.
duck. Big game. Yeah, I think it would work great.
The
I would
Dratini
definitely-
sushi I like.
It would be like a dark version of Snap.
Mhm.
Instead of taking pictures, you're taking their lives.
Yeah.
And
God,
putting them on a platter.
Matt, you've been trying to kill Pokemon this entire show.
I mean, it's better than keeping them in those balls and
Is
making
it?
them fight
Is
each other
it?
for other people's
Because
pleasure.
you've seen the ones where it's like the joke about what's actually inside, and it's just like a Pokemon in a hot tub, just like kicking
Oh,
back,
yeah.
hanging out, like
That's what we wish it was, but let's face it.
their electricity.
Dan, do you remember what it was like before you were born?
No,
I'm sure that's what it's
I'm
like.
sure you think so. They go back to the place before they existed.
everything just goes black.
I just never liked the fact that they just became these like red zaps of lightning.
Yeah.
And then have you
They
seen?
turn into pure energy, Dan.
Well, have you?
and they sit there and
and
just
then
do nothing.
I forget if it was the show, but like you saw a Pokeball open up, it had like refracting mirrors in it or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like, wait, so that energy is literally
Yeah.
just bouncing
You're
around.
turned back to atoms and just bouncing around.
My God.
So yeah, it is much like what you were like.
I
before
wonder
you were
if
born.
that could be used for teleportation. Because if we could take
Oh yeah.
solid matter, turn it into just pure energy, there's no reason we wouldn't be able to then
Right.
teleport that. I mean, this essentially is leading to the first
See, that's the
instance
thing.
of human-based
Like you said
teleportation.
earlier, the minute you start breaking down the world building of like the Pokemon universe, it gets weird and wacky.
But
and dark.
it's also so amazingly full of like what this could
creative
mean.
space. Yeah. And also, I would
That's part of
love-
mine. That's
Yeah,
I
that's
just-
fine.
That's
No,
part of my
mine-
story.
I was gonna say for mine, I would think about trying to fish out of Gyarados. You'd have to rent out a big ship.
it'd be
You have to use the profits
it'd be
from your
it's-
previous
it's like-
restaurant.
It's not. It's just a harpoon gun.
Harpoon
like,
gun.
That's all it is.
and you got to reel it in. Like
And
you can have a
poisoned
cool little
chum.
fishing game, mini
Like, you
game
gotta
with
throw
it.
out
Yeah.
poisoned chum.
You can have so much fun trying to catch all these
You have
Pokemon
two
with
Jigglypuffs on
weapons.
either side of you, blasting.
as a buoy. Oh,
No, blasting the sleep song because they're so aggressive.
oh.
so
man.
you have to lure them up, knock them out, and then harpoon them and reel them in.
Or think about bird types. You'd have to like climb up a mountain or like get on a hang glider and like
I bet Articuno tastes amazing.
only if it's frozen.
Moltres, a little burnt,
little burn edges.
little burnt.
That's what, some of these are self-cooking, so it's fine.
Some of these are self-cooking.
But yeah, that's what I like. It's just like a mixture of different hunting, fishing, Plus, you could even go around the island. Like I said, it's like Snap, but only dark and gruesome.
Dark and gruesome.
And you get to make and it's kind of like one of those capitalist business games too, where you're building your own thing, like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, so there's a lesson here, like it's how to build your own business on the back of 1,000
how to be
dead
an
Pokemon.
entrepreneur in the Pokemon
Yeah, how to
universe.
exploit the innocent animals even more for your own capitalistic gain.
And sell their horns and fur.
And then at the very end of it, when it's like, you've reached $1 billion, it's like, that's what McDonald's did to cows. And that's like, that's the big wrap up. It's like, yeah, and now you're McDonald's.
Well, I mean, what's the alternative? You win a few gym badges and you go rule the country as a gym leader with 4 other people? I don't know how that works.
What if there's like, you have a game where your job is to just release, you're like the PETA in this world, and your only job is to create as much havoc and release
chaos,
and like you just sneak into people's house and release all their Pokemon.
You're like a Team Rocket, but instead of kidnapping, you're releasing, and you're very pro. Yeah, you could go the alternate route and be
there's
peacekeeping.
There's got to be an episode of Pokemon where it has to do with somebody who doesn't believe in the keeping them in the balls. Like
the beginning of this whole Pokemon thing, when I first got into it with the card game and all that, I'm like, there's got to be a PETA or some sort of like protesting
something.
Unit to like capturing these creatures
because it's
and making them go concussed against each other.
Like we're taking animals out of the wild,
right,
and literally throwing into dog fights
until they faint,
like until they one passes.
It's not a tap out. Yeah, they got to get a concussion.
Yeah.
And then you put them back in the ball.
And then you're like, and then you like put them in a little spinny thing. It's like, they're better.
Yeah.
It's like, ding. Like,
what's the one thing you want to do with a concussion? Go to sleep.
Go to sleep and put them in a spinning ball. And be like, they're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine.
But no, I would love that too. Like you're like anti-gym.
What if it's like you're part of like an insurance program?
Oh man,
that's your job is just go door to door to be like,
hello, good evening.
Have you thought about insuring your Pokemon or a house based on Pokemon based damages?
I could see it being like the old Paperboy games. Instead of throwing papers, you'd run up to the doors and like, papers? Would you like insurance paper? No, okay.
But think about it, like in a world like that, and this is one of my favorite conversations to have. How would the actual world work? Because like insurance would be through the roof.
Yeah, because you're letting 10-year-olds run around at night by themselves.
It reminds me a lot of like how much insurance has to cost in Gotham City.
Oh man,
you're like,
especially if you're a business owner.
Like you could be robbed or things could be blown up. There's like, and like in this world where if like a Pikachu gets too upset, it can take out an entire city's power grid.
Yeah, these things are dangerous.
Like the amount of prep and like preparedness you would have to have. The insurance you would have to have, depending on what you do, would have to be astronomical.
Dan, the bees are the size of me. They have drills for hands.
They have bees and drills.
You ever seen what an auger does to a tree? Picture one going at you.
And then there's Suwuduo, who's just a tree.
Yeah.
God, I bet he makes an amazing table.
I bet he just sits in the forest and just kidnaps people quietly.
Just like,
you're just walking in.
You belong to me.
Oh,
now.
I feel, yeah. Pulls you into the woods.
His ancestors are the trees from Wizard of Oz throwing apples at people. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Go.
We hate you. Get out of here.
Get to that Emerald City.
Trees were so mean.
No, they just didn't want you hanging around them anymore.
Get out of their woods,
fair.
man.
Like, come on. You don't own the woods.
Right.
Could you imagine? They had to pick those apples off of them. I bet that hurt.
Could you imagine stubbing your toe on a Metapod? Harden. Ooh, God. Everywhere you go, there's danger.
Oh, I bet
more so than our real world.
I bet a hardening if we're going back on eating them, if you could crack I'm sorry. I don't know why I really like
gooey
this one.
setter.
But like you could crack it open. It's like an oyster where you'd like you shuck a Metapod and just like oh man, that's some good Metapod.
Okay, you just inspired me to upgrade my game. Okay. I want
okay, great. I'm so excited.
Guy Fieri or whatever his name.
Flavor Town,
the Pokemon game. He just goes around to every region. Oh man, this is amazing.
This sounds like a cooking show.
No, he just goes around with a little kitchen knife and just starts eating Pokemon he randomly
finds. Survivor Man meets Guy Fieri.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, there it is.
Bear Grylls
So he's out and he's like, today we're gonna have to eat a rat-a-tat.
All right, you're stuck in the mountain. What do you do?
What do you do? Don't walk up too long. The gamey. All right. Well, Matt, I think that's an episode.
Wow, yeah. No, I guess you're right, yeah.
That went on for a while.
Oof.
Oofta.
Oh, I'm so cringing about eating a Metapod, but that's fine.
I can't believe where we started and
where
this
we
is where
ended.
we ended, but welcome to our show.
All right, well,
Eventually-
yeah. That was a weird tangent.
Eventually we try and eat everything.
I just think it's a fun idea they haven't touched.
Yeah, for a reason. Like it's because it's terrible. Like but I like we're gonna
I'll
stop
see
recording.
myself
We're
out.
gonna stop recording and then still talk about this for another hour.
Yeah.
Like, God, I have like if I can pull up a list of them all,
And eat them?
maybe. Maybe. I don't think I'd eat like a Hitmonlee or Hitmonchan.
No.
The human looking ones would be a little weird.
A little off limits, yeah.
You know, and I don't like Growly and Meowth, I think, are off the limit because they're too like
yeah, that's too real.
Yeah. But like all the other ones, like I don't know, what a Duduo?
Sure, why not?
Sure, Duduo legs.
Why not? Yeah.
Sure.
I would totally do that one. Nibble on a Snorlax.
I'm
yeah.
sure you could jerky quite a lot of them.
Oh, absolutely. You can jerky anything.
You can jerky or pickle quite a few of them too.
yeah. Especially the plant ones.
Yeah, yeah. Pickled plumes.
Watch
Or-
out, Cucumbador.
Is that a real one?
No.
Okay. Like, oh my God.
Pickle. That's his evolved form.
Like I just taking it like a Bulbasaur and shaking him upside down to get some of the spores onto your salad. Like,
You grind his petals.
he's like, ah.
why was I made of basil?
All right, I'm calling it, Matt. Before this gets any worse.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
Hey guys,
Bye, everybody.
thanks for hanging out with us. I'm sorry we ended on like eating Pokemon, but if you have any thoughts on what Pokemon would be the most delicious,
Send all your outrage to me.
I don't like eating Cubone. Its tears make him too salty of a meat.
The bones get stuck in my
Bones
teeth.
get stuck in his teeth, or you use his bones to pick your teeth once you're done.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Hey, let's say the thing we always have to say: click like, subscribe,
click like, punch the
blah,
subscribe,
buttons, all that. Fun
throw
stuff.
the bell out the window, and
but in all honesty, like
put the stars
the more-
in my eyes.
the more comments you leave, the better we look, so we get more like kind of feed on
and
like
David
the Google
doesn't-
Plus and
David
plays
lets
and-
us out of the ball every time you
Yeah.
give us a star.
and David goes, "You did good, boys," and he just throws us a little like Tootsie Roll. Like he's like, "Well, another good episode,
Get
everyone.
back in your cage and make another.
Be funny."
Be funny.
All right, we're heading out. Matt, any final words?
I think Starmie would be really good with some sauce. Yeah, maybe a
Dugong.
pesto. Oh man.
Oh my God.
Dugong would be delicious.